as it relates to work. But we got to talk about this breaking news. We want to react to it. We want to talk about it. We want to see the pros. We want to see the cons. I've seen so many different reactions today, all over the all over the Twitter space. So we'll open up and we'll talk about it. We know we got multiple things going on. We got a presidential election. Most of the exit polls, they're closing on the East Coast, and most of them be closing on the West Coast in a little bit. But we want to kind of delve into this real quick and talk about this. Brian, I'm gonna leave that link on there, big dog. I'm gonna put that link on. We're gonna start talking about this. But was this too late? That's the question. Some people think it's too late, but we'll talk about it. We'll open up and we'll see exactly how everybody is feeling about this, man. So, big dog, what's up, my man? Hey, go subscribe to my guy's channel. Clap It Up TV. Shout out to him. But hey, we get ready to open up. I'm gonna put the link in here. We'll take the first calls, and we're gonna react to it together and really just and talk about this, man. Was this too late? Should it have been a little earlier? We'll talk about that. I personally think it should have been way earlier. And I'm gonna kind of deal with it on another level. Bro, you already know what time it is, man. you already know, big dog. You already know. You see what it is. But yeah, we're gonna open up and talk about this. Hey, what's up, big dog?
You know what it is. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you emotions? Tell me what.
Nah, man. You know me. I've been calling for this for a while. Like I said, on prior shows that he should have been, given Maiava a chance. Now I know at one point, I think it was after the Minnesota loss, you were talking about giving them packages, or maybe even after the Michigan loss. But I was saying, no, we need to go ahead and the offensive scheme or Riley's MO didn't fit
Yeah,
Moss.
right.
You got to be able to be athletic and make plays outside of the pocket. That's what makes it work so well. You
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
So if you go back and you look at all of Riley's quarterbacks that are currently starting in the NFL right now, all of them were able to make plays outside of the pocket.
right,
So the defense has to account for that. See, right now they don't have to account for Moss really. So they can rush three and get and drop eight, and you trying to get a receiver open, and you got three or four receivers, but you got eight in coverage, and they just keep everything underneath. If you
right.
just so happen to get one open, so I think that it came I think it came a little late, but it's at the perfect time, if that makes sense. You got 2 weeks to get Maiava ready for Nebraska. Now, had the bye come earlier in the year, like we had the bye after the first 2 weeks, then we have another one to the end of the season, like 3 games left. So Rutgers was a short week because it was on a Friday, and then we went right into the next game. So I think it came at a um, perfect time in order to give Maiava a good 2 weeks to develop, his plays, his packages. I think we're gonna go back to seeing the old Lincoln Riley where he putting up 35, 40 points a game.
No doubt. I got mixed emotions. I'm not gonna lie to you. And based just because you guys know, I was heavy. I was heavy on Miller in the beginning of the season,
You
and
were, you
yeah,
were,
yeah,
you were.
and I was. I'm not gonna front. I was promoting him based off of what I saw in Louisville game, and I was talking about this with somebody else today. Based off the Louisville game, he looked phenomenal. But as I stated, when I look back, I realized that a lot of those balls were 50-50 balls, and and then in the LSU game, I'm like, man, Miller really got the whole country lost in the sauce. I remember PFF was putting out all these grades, and everybody was just kind of really paying attention to like how Miller was moving and grooving. But when I went back and looked at some of that stuff, now I'm gonna keep it real though. Miller does, and Stefan, I'm gonna get to you in just a second. Miller does, when he's on, he's on. He throws some
Mm-hmm,
excellent passes. He fits it in
mm-hmm,
tight coverage. However, for whatever reason, we just saw, a small regression as time went on, and he just wasn't that same quarterback.
Right, and that's rightfully so, Jay. That was rightfully earned. A lot of people, were, pro advocating for Miller simply because of the what happened in the bowl game and against LSU. I think that's what bought him as much time as he had, in Riley's system.
Right,
Those two big wins, because there were two big wins on a national stage, especially the LSU game.
right.
Especially the LSU game. But if you look back, he made a couple key throws. He is able to do that, make some key throws. But for the most part, when you weigh everything, man, his crucial interceptions kind of like overshadow those key throws. If you
It
understand what
it
I'm
it,
saying.
it overshadowed, and the thing about it, the throws weren't as accurate and as key as they once were in the beginning for whatever
Right.
reason, and it just seemed like sometime under pressure. And what's crazy is the last game, which was the Washington game. Shout
Hmm.
out to the reporter Luca Evans. He put out a crazy stat. Well, it was a PFS stat. I think I mentioned this to some other people, but the stat was this was the highest rated game for Miller Moss.
Hmm.
Excuse me, for the offensive line holding
Right.
and giving him
Plenty of
3.33 seconds,
time.
plenty of
Plenty of
time. This
time.
was the most time that he had. And we still, we still saw some throws and some things that was going on. So hold tight for a minute with me, man, and I'm gonna answer some of these calls while you're on here.
Okay.
Hey, those who
Okay.
are
Cool.
on, look, the link is in the chat. We'll be on for about an hour. I know everybody want to get in there and look at some of that election stuff, but I'm going to do this for about an hour, and then we up out of here. Stefan, what's up, big dog?
What's going on with you, ULCJ? What's the deal, man?
Man, you happy? You sad? You glad? I mean, what's what?
This needed to happen, man. We needed to see something different. We needed. I mean, I feel like it was, I feel like it should have been happened a couple weeks ago, but better late than never. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I mean, it happened with him at Oklahoma with Spencer Rattler. I mean, you can't. It's nothing about. We ain't got nothing against Miller Moss. It's nothing against dude, but you just this is a business at this level. This is not Pop Warner. This is not high school. This is his job on the line. So it ain't about, we know the dude and stayed around and he played behind people and all that other stuff. But we got to see what Jayden Maiava got. And hopefully, he can give us a little bit of spark or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And this come next year, man. This is my last year with Lincoln Riley, man. He gotta, because I feel like we got spoiled year one. You know what I mean? We went 11-1. Let's not bring up that Utah game because we should have been 12-0, but we all know what happened in that game. But anyway, but we got spoiled, and we thought that we was just going elevate from there, but we took some steps back or whatever. But it's put up or shut up. You know what I'm saying? And LA, we about championships. Dodgers,
absolutely.
Lakers. We got even the girls basketball, Juju Watkins and them looking like they finna try to go take one. But, we that's what we about out here. So, this ain't, Oklahoma where we gonna just keep giving you chances at the chances, man. So I don't know, man. I hope he can put something together with these last, what is this? What, three games coming up that we got?
Yeah, we got 3 games: Notre
Yeah,
Dame,
so
Nebraska, and UCLA.
that's enough film, for him to, show us what he got or whatever. And then hopefully coming into next year, I think he want to be a junior, huh? So, maybe hopefully we can hold on to Juju Lewis and a couple other guys, Jerome and them from the guy out of Utah. And hopefully we can hold on to them big name recruits that we got, and we can show them like, yeah, we just had one of them years, but stick in with us and we gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, we could just turn the things around, man, because this is frustrating, seeing us. We ain't never. I don't even think Clay Helton wasn't this bad, was he? We ain't never lost this many games in a row like that, man. Like, this is
No,
crazy.
man, it is, man. It is. But I definitely, and I'm gonna make this statement real quick, and then you can respond, and I gotta get some more calls. But
Most definitely.
you can tell me what you think about this. One of the issues I have with this is one, I'm looking at the fan base. It's kind of like the fan base is divided. And then I'm looking at other content creators who are now flip flopping, even the analysts, and it's like they were kind of persecuting other people who was kind of noticing some of the things that we've been talking about on here. We've been reporting this stuff and we saying, look, and my thing is like, how long does it take for you to really realize, like, if it's anybody else other than Miller Moss, because I got a Miller Time shirt, as I stated. Do we is the leash a little shorter? Is question number one, because like we said, there were some critical times at critical points, and I listened to another podcast today, and he kind of was just going in, and I was surprised. But if it's anybody else, I mean, continue to just throw some of those crazy throws at times. Would they have a shorter leash? That's number one. Number two is I kind of feel like it should have been done earlier, because right now I feel like it's kind of doing Jayden Maiava an injustice. Just the fact that what if he does go out there and just start going crazy? Like, we really could have been winning more games, and that's why I was an advocate of saying that put him in for some packages. If we at least put him in for some packages, I don't think it would have been so hard on Miller, because Miller, I think it was kind of rough on him as well. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, we that close to being undefeated though this year. To be honest, all our games is what 3-point losses, or what I think the most was a 7-point game. And then even with last week with Washington, come on, Miller Moss, you tell me you can't get a score? You right there in the red zone, man. It just is it's just time, man. So, I appreciate you letting me vent a little bit, but it's just time for us to change at the quarterback position, man. Hopefully we can turn this thing around come next year. This year it's already over with, so we might as well move the page and then turn the page on to something else. And hopefully we can go from there, man. That's all I can say.
All right,
it's like I was saying earlier. I think Miller Moss bought himself more time with the LSU win. That's what I think will happen. And I think Riley wanted to give him as much as an opportunity as possible to say, well, hey, look, he didn't want the pundits, a lot of the fan base that are pro Moss, he didn't want them to say, well, hey, look, you didn't give him enough time. And you're correct. Our losses, were all 1-2 point losses. I think the most was like 6 to Minnesota and 5 to Washington. And even with Washington, we were on the goal line. We could have went back ahead in that game. So I think, even though it was a little late, now it's the perfect time to do it, because it gives Miami 2 weeks to get ready for Nebraska, and it's at home. That's a good thing. It's at the house, so he'll have that. He'll have that support behind him. He won't have to worry about too much crowd noise, as opposed to going to Washington. Now we got to worry about we already had a bunch of false starts. Could you imagine starting Miami on the road in an atmosphere like Washington? So I think even though it's late, it comes at a perfect time.
No doubt. But Big Dog, I appreciate you coming in. I'm gonna take some more of these calls.
Most definitely. Fight on, y'all.
Hey, fight on, Phil.
Fight on.
Dan, what's the word? Dan, can you hear me? I don't know if he can hear me or not. Dan, you in here? Can you hear me?
Hey, Jay, while we wait for Dan to respond, one more thing I want to bring up is that fact that, you remember last game, Riley came out really slinging the ball. I don't know if you remember or not, but one of your past shows, you talked about why was he throwing so much and not leaning on a running game. And I said, well, hey, look, recruiting goes a lot into how Riley calls the plays also. So if you're recruiting a quarterback, like, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Dan, you there?
Okay. Yeah, my bad. My thing is tripping.
That's all right.
I think something that nobody's talking about has to be said about Lincoln Riley and his inability to make changes. I mean, you heard Caleb Williams talk about it when it was at OU with Spencer Rattler, when he was out playing them, and he told him just keep working. When everybody knew in that program he was the best quarterback, and the moment that he got in, what did he do? Turns into the Heisman winner, all that. Everybody knew he needed to replace the DC last year. Was taking his sweet time with that. What happened? So, like, something has to click for this dude to realize, like, look, You might have deals or, ties to certain people, but at the end of the day, Pete Carroll won because didn't nothing come over just winning. You can have a five
Right.
star, whatever, and he gonna play the 3 star if he better. Point out, point, period. He did that in Seattle, won, and like I just don't get it. I just
No,
don't get it.
I totally agree. Like in other words, you're basically saying he has a delayed reaction. He reacts too slow when it's time to react. You know what I mean? Like it's just and it causes casualties. You know what I mean? Like mass casualties. In this case, when you're talking about the record and this the team chemistry, just all kinds of stuff, man. And I do believe him when he said the race was close at the beginning of the season. I really believe that. And if you knew that, you know, to me, that's why I said, and if you know that there is an inability to not run on Miller's part, I feel like that's why I said put packages in there. And either way, whether you were to keep Miller in there full time and Maiava, wasn't doing right, or vice versa. If Miller wasn't doing right all the way, Maiava could have get in there and move and groove. I just think, neither one of them is Caleb Williams. Let's just keep it 100. And so I think that it would have been better. You see two quarterback system going all across the country. And I just feel like that would have been a wiser thing if it was that close. Now, I know a lot of people are not going to agree with that, man. What's your thoughts on that?
My thing about the two quarterback system is if it's close enough like that, you got to go with the more dynamic player. Because it's not like the Michigan situation where
Right, right,
Borgie just flat out
right,
can't throw the ball.
right, right.
Like
It ain't that bad.
we've seen Maava last year tear it up at UNLV. So the dude can clearly throw. It's not
He
an
could
issue of
throw.
that.
He could throw. I think I was thinking more of a locker room situation because I know that Miller has the locker room. I know that he won. He won all of us. He won the locker room. He won everybody the Holiday Bowl. And by the way, I don't think Miller Moss. I don't think Will Howard. Looking at him, because I know people were talking about how Lincoln went there and did that. I don't think that Will Howard is that much better than Miller Moss. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Mobility wise.
I would
So
say I would say if Miller Moss was at a school like Michigan, he would have a similar year to JJ McCarthy. But we just don't have the O line for that.
and
And
that
if you know we
that's
don't
what
got
we've
the
been
O
saying.
line,
Right, right.
yeah, and if you know we don't got the O line, why don't you keep the tight end or the running back in to chip the ends even more? Because most of our problems on the O line was coming from the tackles. It
Well,
took you 5 weeks to do that.
to the offensive line. Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah, it took
absolutely
him.
right.
It took him 5 weeks to figure out how to do that, and then all right, we started being able to move the ball down the field a little bit more. But Miller Moss just isn't mobile enough, and at times it looks like he's allergic to pulling the ball. Like you spoke on it previously, where it'll
Yeah,
be read options. The end is just screaming to the running back, "You got a wide open touchdown," or nobody's open down the field. You got to run, and it's like he's allergic to doing it. So this next game is going to be real interesting, just to
yeah,
see the dynamic.
and I appreciate you tapping in, man. And I'm gonna take some more of these calls. Any last thing you want to say? You want to leave
No, no,
before you get
no.
out of here?
Just fight
Okay,
on, fight on. Hopefully, we do good the rest of the way.
absolutely. Fight on, my man. Fight on. Ray,
What's up? What's up, Jay?
talk to me, man. What's the word?
Man, I need that hat in that hoodie first off before I get into it.
Hey, man. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. Hey,
Yeah,
yeah, I appreciate you, man. Marathon.com, man.
that's right. That's
The
right.
marathon continue, man.
That's right. So I'm not gonna say that this is a long time coming because I never knew anything about Lincoln Riley because I looked at it like this, man. SC was everything, the Pac-12 was everything. It
Yeah,
wasn't that many big time coaches, that I was just like in the know on. It was all about Pete Carroll, Nick Saban, Bob Stoops, guys like those, right?
yeah,
So when I heard about how like he's this offensive guru and everything, hey, he could do whatever with any QB, but he always had a specific type. Now everybody was saying like, oh, yeah, Miller had that one good game, that unbelievable game in the bowl, but he still should have made a. I think he still should have probably would have rolled with a guy like Will Howard, because if you look at the way Miller's a good pocket quarterback, but he's been doing some questionable things. You can honestly say that him and Will Howard are on the same level. He don't have a special quarterback like a Caleb no more. So I knew the offense was going to take a hit, and it sucks that he's taken this long to really understand. Like, okay, we're not in the Pac-12. There's no Pac-12 no more. Now we in the Big Ten, right? So you need to have these Big Ten teams play the way you need them to play. You don't have to conform just to them, but you have to change and adapt a little. I think I saw in the video where you said that, like, in 20, was it 17, 18, he was running the ball like 40, 50 something
50%. He went from a 5-year span, he was 50%, then the 49%, and then it continued to just kind of decrease all the way up to he went to 45%, and then like now this year is like 39%. But that's the quarter. But think about it. The quarterback is equating for some of their yards. You know what I mean? Because of the way the quarterback runs. And so that's where we really lack it. And it neutralizes, like, to be what Brian was saying. And I know, Brian, you can jump in anytime, but it keeps the defensive ends from crashing down, and it keeps the defense honest. And so that's where, like, Lincoln offense just is not fully operating right now because you don't have that option, that threat.
That's true.
Right. So once they get the film on Moss and they know that he's not a threat, you don't have to account for him. So now you can drop back, 7, 8 players into a zone, and hopefully that your 3 or 4, if you got one good pad rusher, they can get to him, or you can send a delayed blitz and get to him because he's not going to move either to his right. He doesn't throw well to his right there, or he get 3 yards down the field and then stop and try and look for another receiver. So they have people, analysts, that watch those things and watch for those tendencies. So they had nobody. We had no film on Moss. They had no film on Moss for the Holiday Bowl or for LSU. So Riley was able to scheme up some plays. Well, what started happening after that? Now we got film on. We got his tendencies down, and that's why we've been struggling so much. But we should have been leaning on the run game. But here's the problem, though: if you're leaning on the run game and you're running all, with just your running back, 60% of the time, well, you're recruiting a quarterback. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I was saying on one of Jay's earlier shows, that a lot of that play calling goes into recruiting as well. When you recruit a quarterback like Juju Lewis, he don't want to see offense where you handing the ball off 60% of the time. No, he want to throw the rock.
Yeah.
So that's just my conjecture on it.
But Juju got a little wheels, though. I think
I'm trying, man. Look, there's so many people that's trying to discredit. I don't know where they. And I'm not saying he's a dual threat. He's like a Patrick Mahomes, where he improvises, because Patrick Mahomes is not just a fast guy, but he does have some wheels, and he can go.
He's faster than Miller, because, like, I don't understand what Miller do. His he's questionable with his decision making. But let me ask you this, though: since when Lincoln first came, right, we had, who was it, Travis Dye, and we had Austin Jones, right, and then the following season,
and Darwin Barlow.
It was Jones, Barlow, and we had Marshawn, and now this year we got Joyner and we got Marks, right? We have never seen a game. Yeah, we've never seen a game where we have just rushed for 300, 200 plus yards, when we've had the opportunity to really do that on a bunch of teams. He just wants to get real pass heavy. I mean,
well, to be fair to his credit, man, he's the quarterback whisperer. So you're not gonna have a bunch of games where he just handing the ball off running it. Even though I said Woody Marks was one of the outside of Danton Lynn, that Woody Marks was the best pickup in the off season for Riley, and he's a special back. And I really thought that that Riley did Woody Marks a disservice this year. I think that the offense should have been featuring him, and he would be in the Heisman race right now. And Jay will tell you, I said that Woody Marks has been the best back that we've had since Buck Allen. He's been the most complete back. And this is no shade to Rojo, but Rojo couldn't pass, block, or catch the ball out of the backfield when he first got to SC. So I've been screaming Woody Marks since the LSU game.
Yeah, I like Marks a lot. I like Marks
Yeah.
a lot. You know, yeah, you right. You
Yeah,
dead right on that.
I definitely like Marks, but I'm gonna tell you though, when Clay Helton was here, you know, I really felt like they didn't use I think he could have been just as good as anybody. Stephen Carr to me was just a guy
Mm-hmm.
that could have just really been explosive, man. I mean, that dude could do it all, but for whatever reason, they didn't use him or Marquise Step right. They could have we could have did the same thing with the double, you know, with like Quinn Joyner and Woody Marks, just ran it down their throats. But for whatever reason, that's a whole nother thing. But man,
Stephen Carr didn't look. He didn't look right after he got hurt though. In his
yeah,
what was
he hurt
his
his
second
back.
year.
But you remember
Yeah,
when he played
he
against
didn't look right.
Western Michigan and he had that cut, man, and he just dipped out for that touchdown when he was a true freshman. Yeah, that dude had a lot of
Same thing with Marquise Step. I think he got hurt against Arizona, and he didn't look right after that Arizona game when he got hurt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one thing, and then I'm gonna get off, man. You know, I think our fans really need to stop crashing out. You know, I guess we in a different day and age with this social media and everybody.
Man, they be wild, man. Wow.
Be wilding, and you know, it's one thing as the fans, but then it's another thing when you got the players on the team. I ain't gonna say his name and his number, but you know, it was a tweet that went out from him that looked real bad. That just
I'm real quick before you get off. Let me read this because he put out another tweet. I know you're talking about, and well, I'm just gonna say it. Jacoby Lane. Yeah, a lot of people reacted to that tweet, but then he put out another tweet. He says this. He said, and I got it in my hand too because I was kind of waiting to read it because there was a question. There was somebody that put something up here talking about Lane wasn't happy, but he says this. He says, the love I have for this team is deeper than football. He said, wouldn't want it to be any other team in the country. I bleed Cardinal and gold and don't need nobody validation or anything. If you think I'm not beyond happy for Jayden Maiava and excited for him, respectfully, you're very silly. So that was what Jayden Maiava. I mean, that's what Jacoby Lane said about Jayden Maiava. So he had to come. He had to double back basically. Yeah. And just kind of let everybody know, look, he's not even tripping. This is his teammate. He bleeds Cardinal and gold, and I'm all for him because there's a lot of people that you know, the idea that we were even putting out on this channel, just the fact that knee packages, Brian, you know, saying full-time Maiava, just all that. There were so many people knocking it down.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. I saw
but it wasn't Jay that said it, though. It wasn't USC Jay that said it. I was the one that said it.
Mm-hmm.
I said it. USC Jay said different, you know, packages, which is understandable. You know, if your team needs a spark or if you need to pick up a first down in a key situation, because he did in the bowl game when he brought in Jessen. Remember he did it in the bowl game,
and there's nothing wrong with that. And
here's the deal, though. But the deal is this: now they trying to go back. And now they talking about, it doesn't fit Jayden Maiava. Now, you know what? You need to come and apologize because because at the end of the day, we was telling you, we saying the same thing. Now you trying to go back. You look like a hypocrite, a flip-flopper, and you lost in the sweet sauce. I mean, it don't make no sense. But, you know, they going to use those tweets too, though, because I saw one of them put a tweet up on Twitter about Jacoby Lane, the negative one, but I didn't see him putting nothing up about the positive one. So you got those that want to put the negative things out there, and that kind of, that's how they get their views. That's how they get their following. Instead of just doing real commentary, man. Look, we're not out here. We're not on here trying to play no Mickey Mouse games. We trying to give it to you just the way we see it, what our eyes actually see. And if you don't see it, if you trying to just make up some stuff. You know, somebody asked me about DJ Lack. I said, man, if you don't get it, look, man, I don't have time for that. We on here talking about some real football, some real game type situations.
No, man. Hey, man, you brothers stay up. I got love for what y'all doing, man. And I follow both of y'all tweets, man. So I see the hate that how
it was another tweet that came out about a certain player being labeled a scapegoat on how the season is going. I'm not going to mention who did it, but it's out there now.
Yeah. I'm not
even.
I ain't gonna touch that.
I ain't gonna touch it either.
Yeah. It is what it is, man. And you know, I just wish Coach Lickett Riley would have handled things probably a little
Yeah.
smooth, a little different. It could have been. I agree that it could have been handled a little bit different. And hey, it is what it is. But at some point, he had to make the decision. I feel like it could have been done way earlier than what it was done.
Yeah, that's true. I think it should have been done by that Michigan game, honestly.
Yeah, that's where I start seeing it. But I say, okay, the first one was Michigan. Okay, but then we saw it again with Minnesota. And that's at that point, your antenna should have rose up and said, wait a minute. I think something is going on here. I gotta really kind of look at this. Let's at least start working them in, but to just kind of keep doing it and keep looking at it, that's on coach.
Yeah, because I remember after that Michigan game, and then you dropped the video on that Minnesota, because I was watching Minnesota play Michigan. I was like, dang, man, they look legit right there.
Yeah.
They gonna give us that,
and I said it in the video. And I said, every time we get a certain type of pressure, I knew it was going to happen with Washington too, because, everybody was like, oh, Rutgers, man, look, Jay, look what happened to Rutgers. I said, man, Washington is going to present a whole different thing. The noise, the environment, whenever we get away, for whatever reason, we lost in the sauce. And I know everything starts from the top. Cody Kessler, shout out to him because he keeps us 100. He said two things that everybody looks at when the season is going wrong. They look at the quarterback and they look at the coach. And he said it's on Miller and it's on Lickett Riley. So, hey, man, it is what it is. This is football, man. This is the nature of the game.
Yep. But I gotta go, man. Y'all brothers keep doing your
thing.
Fam.
Man. All right, fam.
All right.
All right, Brian, man. So what else? And I'm gonna put this link in here as we continue to go, man. What else about this, man? Is your thought? Hey, the link is in the chat. Everybody, whoever will step in.
The move had to be made, Jay. The team needs a spark right now. We got too many losses, in conference losses, and that's the biggest problem with what's going on right now. The in conference losses. Right now, we're just struggling to even make a bowl game. When after the LSU game, everybody was riding high. It was either 11-1 or 12-0. But now here we are stuck at 4-5 with 3 games left. We got to win at least 2 of these games. And the path that we were going, it didn't look favorable, even at the house. So Nebraska, even though we're at home, Nebraska is going to present a whole different dynamic along that defensive line. So you got to be able to go back to Lincoln Riley, got to go back to being Lincoln Riley, how he called the plays, which dictate, the number of possessions that we get, which also dictate, the score that we put on the scoreboard. So I think that move had to be made. It just had to.
No, I totally agree with you, man. Dan, how you doing? Man, I don't know what happened to him. He came in and out. But no.
Yeah, he had some static in the background, Jay. I don't know whether or not he was having issues with his phone.
No, I totally agree with you. It had to be more. It had to be made. And I listened to Lickett Riley's press conference today. He kind of talked about he's been through this before, and the media. Now, I will say this, man. I think he has to be more forthright. He has to come a little bit more correct when you talk about, especially LA media, man. You can't just talk any kind of ways because they're gonna hold you to it. And for example, I think it was Saturday after the game. Some reporters asked him. They said, "Are you going to consider maybe looking into Jayden Maiava?" He said, "Absolutely not. We're gonna keep it the way it is." So basically, I think I heard him say. Somebody asked him. They said, "So why now the change?" You just said. He said, and he was kind of like, "No, I didn't say that." And so everybody heard it. He did say that. I don't know if Coach Lickett Riley at times has selective amnesia. I don't know. I heard him say it. I mean, a lot of people, but. Maybe he's entitled to change his mind. If you think about it, I'd rather hear him say, I thought about it. I thought things out. All of us do that, right? You see, sometimes there's some things, with your kid.
I think it's more so of an issue where he didn't want, his starting quarterback to read the press or hear, in a playback that, hey, look, we're looking at exploring different options. Because the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to mess with his I just lost my train of thought. You don't want to mess with his confidence. So I think he has to keep it, at a certain level. And then, in a situation like this to where he actually, okay, look, we need to go in different direction, which is true. I only hate that we're being reactive versus being proactive. You understand what I'm saying? So have we been proactive earlier in the season and maybe did what you said? And again, I want a lot of people to understand Jay wasn't calling for Moss's job. All right.
Right,
Whoever's listening, he wasn't calling for Moss's job on that live. He's saying introduce some packages which could have helped us, win some of those games.
right,
When you look back on it, hindsight is always 2020, but it could have, add in that extra threat and then, bringing your quarterback back in and, the maneuver down the field. But in a situation like that, especially with that 4th and 1, we could have used Maiava on the center, if not in the, in the shotgun and putting that ball out on that read. We could have used him, but, to each his own. I hope Riley learns from this situation. But from what I understand, Moss has another year. I don't think that he'll be back.
and
But
that's I think that's a deciding factor too, because
right.
I think Lincoln Riley, I think he's gonna have to make a decision as far as do you keep Moss? You
can't, Jay. Unfortunately, Jay, you can't.
Or
you
do you
can't, Jay.
tell
Unfortunately,
him to move on? Now I know since the transfer portal, especially all that stuff, man. They've been telling guys, they do their evaluation every December, and they kind of tell guys, look, either we want you or not, and they kind of tell you. So I think it's gonna be that kind of deal. And the deal is, and I'm gonna tell you this, something that I was told, and this is in reference to Juju Lewis. I talked to somebody close, and they were like, "Well, I should even, yeah, but I don't think he wanted to play behind Miller Moss. I mean, that was one of the statements that was mentioned to me.
Right. Well, again, Jay, because he doesn't fit the scheme, and you remember me saying that this has been Lincoln Riley's lowest point per game, average since he's been calling plays. That's as a play caller and as a head coach. He's never averaged this low, had this low of an average. So when you take away an element of his game, now you have to do stuff like bring in tight ends to chip because they're crashing down too hard, or you don't have enough time. To whereas when you have a Caleb, or you have a Baker, or you have a Kyler that will step up in the pocket, see that gap and take off running. Okay, well now you got to slow down those defensive ends because they don't know whether or not your quarterback gonna take off running. That's what I mean by accounting for that extra player. Here this season, they hadn't really had to account for Moss, so that's going to affect how the defense is called too. And it just so happened that he's not that athletic, he's not that agile. He'll take off running every blue moon, but for the most part, he's trying to stay back in the pocket to whereas the type of offense that Riley calls for the quarterback to get outside of that pocket and even take off running if he has to.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I was looking at some highlights today, man, and I'm telling you right now, what I saw, if I saw a clip against Vanderbilt today, man, and man, I tell you what, if he plays like that, I did see some other clips about with and I'm gonna let this guy come on in real quick. I did see some other clips, man, with him playing against Kansas and a couple other teams, but man, that clip against Vanderbilt.
You talking about Maiava?
Maiava.
He got some wheels. He reminds me of Sam Darnold. Darnold.
Absolutely balled out. Let me take this call real quick.
Okay.
Stephon.
Hey, I just want to say something real quick. I feel like this. I'm gonna say this about the recruits or whatever. Well, QB Juju Lewis. If you want to go play for Dion and because I feel like they going off this hype season. For one, I heard y'all kind of talk about it the other day. I don't know if it was whatever day that was, and y'all was talking about as far as the Big 10 and the Big 12. Man, there's a totally difference. If you want to go play in that weak conference, and I heard you say USCJ, you was like, basically, you said like if we was in that conference, we would dominate, and that's true. You know what I'm saying? Because
if you put Colorado and John, I'm gonna get to you in just a second, John Alexander. And if you put them in, if you let them line up against, you tell me how this will work out. Let them line up against LSU. Let them line up against Michigan. Let them line up against all these teams that we played thus far, and see how that work out for them.
Bro, I don't even think they get one win this year. I'm trying to think. Maybe Utah State they'll beat the Utah State. I don't have
Yeah.
nothing against Travis Hunter and all that. But like I said, dog, they basically got Travis Hunter and then they got, Shador, the quarterback or whatever. They defense is decent. They got, Hall of Fame coaches over there or whatever. But at the same time, it's if Juju want to pick all the hype and all that, because for one, I'm going with a quarterback whisperer. He has a proven track record of getting these quarterbacks to the Heisman and get them to the NFL. Why would I go to a professional corner? I'm not a cornerback. I'm a
Hey,
quarterback.
All facts. All facts.
Come on now.
All facts.
The other thing about it, man,
It's
Shador Sanders, and I got to take this other call too, but Shador Sanders be running for his life. But also,
right.
they got some players that are leaving, man, and they are not going to be the same team even this year that they are next year.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's going to be a different situation. But I got to
But
take
that's
this
all I
other
wanted
call.
to say.
Okay,
Hopefully
Phil.
we can keep them though. I appreciate it. Fight on though.
All right, fight on. B Jones, what's the word?
What's up, Jay? Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Cool, man. What's going on, Trojan family? What's going
Hey,
on?
man. Hey, everybody go subscribe to Light the Torch podcast. This is my man B Jones right here, man. But what you got?
It's about 2-3 games too late, Jay.
It is. It's too late because I'm gonna be mad if we just start going crazy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be highly upset.
Right.
But I feel like yeah, we could have at least what game would you say? What game would you say that should have been done?
I would say Penn State, man.
After Penn State?
But that's for me. It was Penn State because I had hope that Miller was going to get the point and start taking off, man. Start putting the ball down. But
Yeah.
we spoke about it, man. But for me,
Yeah.
it was Penn State. But I understand. I mean, you guys were pretty much after Michigan, and I completely understand that too.
Yeah. Yep. I agree, man. But now we just gotta. I mean, we can still, I guess, salvage the season. We can go
I don't know about
8?
some of the season, but
Whatever. We could do. We could do
here's
something.
my thing, Jay. Here's my thing about Miller, right? This is not necessarily his fault, right? Lincoln didn't put him in the best position to succeed. I mean,
they could have ran the ball more.
Right, exactly. Like Brian Jenkins has been saying, he was already a square trying to fit in a round hole, right?
Right.
Fit. So I don't think Lincoln tailored his system enough. So we knew that he wasn't going to be Caleb. So I completely expected this offense to revolve a little more around our running backs, especially looking at our O-line that was bringing in the younger guys, the Lonnie Noahs, and just looking at their size, I'm like, okay, Lincoln planning on running the ball a little more, especially going into the Big Ten. We're putting weight on dudes. Okay, cool. We're gonna be running the ball more, but having a guy whose strength is not in his arm, that's not his talent. Throw for
Honestly, bro. Hey, B Jones. Honestly, I was highly surprised because during the Louisville game, I thought I saw a stronger arm, but then as the season kind of went on, I was highly surprised of his arm. I didn't realize his arm was. I don't even like to use the word weak, but I didn't realize it. Like he couldn't get the throws. It was just surprising to me. I just thought he had a better cannon than that.
Even that Louisville game, man, if you go back and watch, it was some underthrown.
Well, yeah. When I went back and watched, I was that's why I said when I went back and watched. But yeah, I didn't see it at that point.
Yeah, exactly. None of us did. We was all blinded by the 6 TDs. And we expected it to improve, by the time this season got here. But I mean, this is where we at now, man. We'll see how it goes with Jayden. We all got high hopes for Miller. We wish him the best, man. Of course, we was all fans of his, probably, and still are. I'm still a fan of Miller Moss, man.
Yeah.
Personally, I want to see him stay because I'm a Trojan, and he's a Trojan at heart.
Yeah.
But as a fan of his, man, I wanted him to go to a place where he can succeed, man, which be an offense that fits him better. Somebody that run a offense. There's plenty that's in the conference that fit him. Plenty of teams in the conference fit him. So I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, we wish him the best, man. We appreciate everything that he did do, sticking it out. But I mean, unfortunately, it's just the situation is what it is.
What you think about the fan base being divided, man? I know you've been seeing all this stuff. I know you sent me a couple things. I've been seeing all kinds of stuff this week. Well, today, the fan base is just crazy divided.
Man, I'm more concerned about us, Jay. The YouTube community is divided right now, man.
But bro, I mean, if we look, hey man, if we keep it 100. I've been speaking this. Of course, you got we've been having guests come on, pretty much saying the same thing, bro. Haven't changed my tune. I've been saying packages, the whole thing. But now everybody else is changing their tune, man. You know what I mean?
Jay. I mean, I even reiterated that on our show, man. I told him, like, listen, USCJ is not calling for Miller's job. I'm hearing dudes saying that you was bashing Miller. I ain't never heard you bash.
I ain't never, not one time. Listen to me. I'm not gonna go waste my $39.99, however much that shirt was, $39.99, and go buy a Miller Time shirt. I got it. I should have wore it tonight just because, just to let it. But anyway, I'm not gonna go waste my money. You feel what I'm saying? So, people put the narrative. They put it out there for clicks. They put it out there for views. Man, I don't have time for that, man. We trying to get real football analysis and commentary on what we believe needs to happen with the USC football team. And these are a couple of things that we've been seeing. It's kind of been the same story. And I listen. I don't know if you listen to and Brian, you can tell me too. And I got to take this other call too. And B, you can stay on if you want. But okay. This guy, what's his name? Chris Arledge. I happen to click in at the end of the day, and every now and then I kind of listen to him. I like listen to him. He kind of tells it like it is. And the way he talked about Miller today, you guys need to go back and listen to that. It kind of tripped me out listening to him, and he was just like, it just can't happen. I mean, he keeps doing it over and over, and I was surprised because they were really, really high at the beginning of the season. Saying that Miller is the guy, this, that. But Chris Arledge took a turn, man, and I salute him. And
here's my thing, Jay. I don't know what else more does the fan base need to see. You understand what I'm saying? What else more does the YouTube community need to see? How can you still be divided though? After seeing what we've seen for the last 5 weeks, how can you still be divided?
Yep.
I don't get it.
It's crazy. But you guys hold tight if you guys still have time. I'm gonna take this other call real quick. John, how you doing, man?
Good, and yourself, my brother?
Man, what's the word?
Man, I'm hearing everything, listening to everything. How I see it is that if you're an offensive guru, how can you not understand an offense to be reconstructed and be able to do something to where it takes off, and also not understand your strengths? We came into the Big Ten running. We all, like, everybody in the Big Ten run. They run on us. Last time we spoke, it was the same thing. Like, okay, remember last time I was on the chat, it was like, hey, listen, like, just do what they're doing to us.
Right.
But even last year, actually, if we probably ran the ball more the year before that, when we lost to Tulane, we'd have ran the ball more. We probably would have preserved him keeping Grinch. Because
it had to happen like this, and I believe and I get what you're saying. I'm glad it happened the way it happened. I'm glad we didn't get rid of Grinch a year prior, because I don't think we would have had that defensive staff. I always kind of say that, but
I'm at the Maryland game, bro. I'm at the Penn State game. I was at the Wisconsin game. I was at the Michigan game. The funny thing about it is that when you at these games, especially in other venues, that and you're in the other competition, and they're saying how you can win, and you don't win that way.
It's crazy. Well, the commentators, they're saying the same thing. We need to, and I totally agree with you. They need to run the ball more. But here's what I'm gonna ask you, all you guys on here. if we ran the ball more, do we see a quarterback change right now? And you know,
No,
okay,
we don't.
No, but
let me
there's no need for a quarterback change.
well, hold on. I got a part 2 to that question. Do we
Okay.
see a quarterback change? And does the inaccuracy and the interceptions magnify the situation?
First of all, he's not going to be put in those positions to be able to have that happen.
Exactly.
Facts. I agree with that.
Right.
So
You're
it's
not
like,
gonna put him in a situation like that.
what's the point? Like, what? Like, if we running the ball, if we're running the ball, and the challenge is the first and second downs. So,
Yes,
like, we're putting ourselves in a
yeah.
position to where we're down already, first and second down, and then if, like, okay, watching that Washington game, I was totally upset, right? Because I'm like, dude, like, okay, if Mason Murphy all the time, the whole time that he was getting false starts was because of passing downs. Those linemen, just put them forward. Just let them lean on somebody. Let them hit somebody. Let them go forward. They 320 pounds, 340 pounds, 315 pounds, 310 pounds, you know? Like, if they're going forward and all we got to do is just run forward, we're
Right.
good. Like, we got to be more of an aspect of, like, if I'm Lincoln Riley, I'm like, oh, okay, I got the receivers, I got the quarterback. That's great. That's awesome. That's amazing, right? But how is it if we came out of this season, how Michigan came out of last season with 2 1,000-yard runners and win the ship?
Can I answer that? You had 2 1,000-yard runners.
Well, the form was like, I think it was like 1,400. Yeah.
But if you do that, if you go that route and you switch it up and you show that it's effective, what are you telling the next 2 quarterbacks that you're recruiting? Lewis and what's his name? Ryder?
Ryder Lyon.
Ryder Lyon. What are you telling them though?
I'm telling them they coming into a system where we gonna fit the system, and we get our main basis ain't about you having all the yards. Our main system is not you about having all the accolades. Our main system is about winning.
Yes. Spot
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
you know, so where does the aspect of, okay, we talked about that part, but then what about the other part of Lincoln Riley's offense about the quarterback pulling the ball? Where does that come into play? And running those RPOs and running those mitch plays and running those read runs and stuff like that.
RPOs,
yeah.
That's on him. That's on him.
But that's where
he's stuck in a small mind frame. Like, okay, if like
it's on. Wait. Who are you saying that's on? It's on Riley or Miller?
It's on Riley.
No. Listen. Listen. Think about this real quick.
Okay.
He has the option to either pull it or give it to the running back.
Right.
How many times? And we don't know. We can't. We don't know how many times he decided to give it to the running back because he didn't want to run. We saw him run a couple of times. So that decision, that option is probably Lincoln Riley gives it to him. So how many times, because we talked about the run into passing ratio, the difference, 50% from 2017, 18, and then it just kind of been on a small decline. But this is the biggest year at 39%. How many, run options did you have that we don't know about?
That's really something that Lincoln Riley has to know, and he got to know his personnel. So if that's your guy, I understand it, but you got to tailor fit. And like I said earlier, you're the offensive guru, so you got to tailor fit what you're doing to that guy that you have.
But see, I think that's the issue we coming into though, because he's never had a guy like that.
Right, but you have to remember that here also too. He did bring in the tight ends to slow down the pass rush off the edges.
He did.
Brought that in.
Yeah, he had him on both sides. He had the running back
on both sides.
Yeah, he had Deuce on one side, and then he had the tight end on one side, and we saw.
And we still got the interception. So what do you do now?
Hey,
what do you do now?
And check this out. 3.3 yards according to Luka Evans. And I got to take this other call from this Trojan FX. He's on Twitter. But 3.33 seconds, the most all year long with the offensive line, giving them time, according to PFF. And we still saw some of the same issues. Thoughts on that before I let you go?
That's a lot of the fact that they was dropping 8 though. They was dropping 7, So they already knew where SC was. It's predictable. That's the problem. The offense
So
is
how do you fix it? So
predictable.
how do you fix it then? How do you fix it? You bring in what?
How do you neutralize it?
Right.
Well, how
How
you neutralize it is like you stick with what's working for you. If you stick with working for you,
You can run it. You can run it. So, okay, what's working for us is the run sometimes, right?
right?
So we ran on that 4th down. So they're going if there's no threat to pull the ball, they're gonna crash the running back. Absolutely crash it.
Kill
Well,
it.
it's the same thing. I'm gonna give you guys all a question. You get all think about it. Penn State, who they going to? The tight end. They did it against Ohio State. They did it against us. They done it all year. You got to shut down you got to shut that down. And they got those 2 tailbacks out there, those 2 tailbacks in there that are going to be NFL tailbacks.
And I think we really hyper focus on them to the point that where they weren't as effective as they normally would be. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we do the same thing. Like we've gone around. We've had Lake McCree come back. We don't go to him no more. Like or like we were going when we played LSU. We was going down the middle with him. He could pull up against a safety. All of that. It opens everything up. But it's like it's a congregated offense. Like it's an offense. It's like it's so predictable. It's super predictable. I'm not even. I'm not the ultimate football savant or anything like that, but I can look at this and be like, oh, I know what he's going to do. So you can only imagine what those coaches who do this for their life know what he's going to do. They know he's going to run it on first. They know, well, pass it on 1st down or 2nd down. And they don't do that in the Big Ten. It's pretty much man on man. So let's go man on man. We got a huge offensive line. A huge offensive line. Let's go man on man. We know we can't pass protect very well, so let's just go man on man. That's fine. It's cool. We'll figure it out.
So this is what's been happening, man, since last year, since maybe Notre Dame, man. They dropped every team is gonna drop 8 and then let us run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They know we're not gonna sustain that.
Yep.
And that's been the defensive game plan for every team we played and every team we struggled with. Because they know Lincoln PJ Fleck even said it. He even said it. We knew that they wanted to pass the ball, even when they were running.
When another coach come out and say that against you, that's just all bad.
Fellas, let me welcome somebody real quick. This is Trojan FBX. You can find him on Twitter. Has a pretty nice following, but he puts out a lot of nice things, especially as it relates to Jayden Maiava. I can honestly say that he was. Hey, welcome, my man. First of all,
hey, how you doing? Yes, CJ, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I can honestly say, and I want to hear from you real quick. There was only a few people I know in the Twitter space. Of course, the YouTube space. I was kind of like a big advocate. Like, look, let's get these packages for Jayden Maiava. Never had to hate any type of thing, but now we're starting to see all this stuff. I think he took some shots on Twitter as well because we were kind of seeing the same thing. So, bro, what's your thoughts on all this stuff, man, and how you think the fan base is feeling as it relates to?
Yeah, so I don't like the divide. I think that a lot of people are villainizing the Jayden Maiava crowd.
Right.
Just out of because of pure, like, they knew they were wrong. Like,
it's crazy, and
like,
they don't want to.
We saw it first, and like honestly, I got crucified for saying I want to see Jayden Maiava week 1 versus LSU. We came off of the Holiday Bowl with the six touchdowns from Miller Moss, and we come to this LSU game, and like it's freaking close. I think what do we have, like 10 points at halftime or something. I can't remember, but it was like, we've never seen this in 2 years, right? I think everyone was kind of like crapping their pants at that point. And I knew this offense wasn't clicking the way it should be, right? Like, some was like, out of USC's good graces, or Miller Moss threw pretty good game and kind of got lucky at that last drive. If not, we were talking about a whole different story if we lost the LSU game, right? Everyone would be on the hot seat. I mean, since then, I've kind of felt Lincoln Riley's been using the wrong quarterback. That's not. I mean, look at all the quarterbacks he had: Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. I mean, you know them all: Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams. Like, what's the common denominator here? You know, we don't have that threat. We don't have that 11th that 11th man that the defense has to account for. And so now they're just like that last play on the last game, or not last play, but that drive where Woody Marks got destroyed because Miller Moss has his blinders on. Like, he's not looking around, you know, he's just set on one thing. He's probably just like, I'm handing off to Woody. That's it, you know. But had he just take those blinders off, he could pull the ball back and run it in. But he just doesn't have that ability. I just feel like he's just closed-minded in a way. And I think a lot of people could agree with me there. But I don't know what it is. I knew something was up with the offense, and it had to be. It's not that Miller's bad. It's just he's not right for Lincoln Riley's offense.
And you're saying a whole lot that oh, I'm sorry about that. I accidentally hit you by out, but you're saying a lot. Most of the things that we're speaking the same language right now, man. I mean, we've been saying it, and you see some of the clips I put up from my YouTube channel. I put them on Twitter. I know I've had conversations with you, and I see some of the posts that you put up. And it's not rocket science. It's no knock on Miller. And as I stated with everybody, love Miller. Got a Miller time shirt. But I personally started noticing some things, in the Michigan game, and it just kind of trickled down from there. And then I just feel like I don't think Miller Moss was the same quarterback that he was with LSU. I just kind of start seeing a little bit of regression when you're talking about the INTs. You talk about INTs in critical parts of the game, and it happened very frequent. And so that's what I started noticing. And then the run option, to me, it just wasn't available to make the Lincoln Riley, like, Brian says that you're trying to put. What do you say, Brian?
I say you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And that's a good analogy. And so, yeah, I totally agree, man. But, yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. Look, fan base, everybody, we got almost 300 people in here. We need to be on one accord, man. I mean, bottom line, I heard some people say, when Miller Moss was in there, that we're going to trust Riley for the quarterback. So why question him? So I'm going to use your same, you guys are same, speaking to the people in the audience, I'm going to use your same term. Let's trust Lincoln Riley now to do the same thing. Don't switch and double back and act like you got selective amnesia as it relates to that.
Yeah, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, no doubt.
I just wanted to clear it. Like, there was no bashing on my part. I did not attack him in any personal way. I did put up clips of his interceptions or, like, that run pass play. But that's basic, like, critiquing, right? We all do that. We all look at the tape. We all say, hey, he should have done this. Monday morning quarterback. This was no personal attack on him in any way. So just wanted to clear that up. Miller Moss, I think, is excellent. He's been loyal to the program, and we appreciate that. But it's the best interest of the team to explore the other option of Jayden Maiava, and this is going to help out Lincoln Riley a whole lot, since everyone's complaining about his play calling, Maiava, and his legs or his improvisation is going to help out Lincoln Riley a lot. So
I totally agree.
No hard knocks on Miller. It's always Miller time. We'll always remember that. So
I totally agree. Hey, look, everybody. I'm sorry.
And I want to say this too, Jay. And we have to be honest with ourselves. If this was the situation at any other major program around the country, Miller Moss would have been pulled.
Man,
Yep.
Yeah.
hey, and
Sooner too.
that's the truth, man. And I think a lot of people don't want to. It's hard to separate facts from feelings, and facts are facts, and feelings are feelings. All of us had those feelings, because Miller, he stayed loyal to the soil. He stayed next to the program, stayed close. Mom's involved, all that stuff. But then at the end of the day, those are not producing wins. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love USC more than anything. So hey, it is what it is. But Trojan FBX, appreciate you coming on. Hey, look, everybody
Hey,
go
thanks for
look at
taking
his
me.
go look at his Twitter, man. He got some nice highlights of with the Vanderbilt game with Jayden Maiava, man. Jayden Maiava was absolutely slinging that ball. All right, my man, stay blessed, my man.
All right, you too. Take care.
All
See
right,
you
fight
guys.
on.
Jay, I'm
All
about
right, man.
to.
All
Jay,
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
there's a challenge with defense too, though.
What's
And
that?
there's a challenge with defense too in this last game. I saw it. Like and it happened in the Maryland game too. We are not pressing. So if we're not pressing, we
Yeah,
staying,
we've been
we
not pressed.
letting them
I
run
don't understand. Yeah.
slants. Like, oh, okay, y'all could just run slants when y'all want to. Now, I will give Deonton Lynn the credit of he changes it up in the second half, but we got to press. Like,
We gotta press. We gotta press. But I will say this though. I saw Jalen Smith close the gap pretty quick
oh
this
well,
this past
yeah.
weekend. Yeah, Jalen
So
Smith.
they're probably learning something different that he's teaching them. I get it.
Well. I kind of got to disagree because Kamari Ramsey does the same thing. Well, he's not playing corner, so he's not. Yeah,
His closeout speed is amazing.
it's amazing. So I think we missing that, and then of course Jacoby Covington. Those two guys to me closed the gap extremely quick, and so it's not as recognizable. But I will say, yeah, to your point, they are playing a little off, and that's too much.
I
And
think
that
that's the
comes
key
with
from
injuries
getting
though
beat deep,
too.
though.
What was that?
I think that's the key from getting beat deep because we don't have starting corners in. I noticed that the last two games we were well, we weren't playing press man on the outside, and we were looking for the front four to get to the quarterback. The
Right.
problem is the front four, even when they bring a blitz, it's not getting to the quarterback. So now when the quarterback is dropping back, they're running 7, 8 yards down the field and running toward the sideline and complete easy passes. So it's almost like, okay, we give them space, and then when we get inside the red zone, we clamp down. The
Right.
problem is, because we don't have our starters, we might miss a tackle or two on the outside, or allow the running back to get to the outside. Now we don't have anybody over there to make the tackle. I think
I,
that's what's been the problem.
I have a question for you though. Like, why not develop them in that mindset to where this is what we do? We clamping down, we're
Mhm.
going, and I get it from the defensive, standpoint of blitzing and
Mhm.
everything. I
Mhm.
get that. Like, I get that.
I think we don't have the depth um, behind the starters in order to do that. Like the depth
Right.
that we got behind the starters are freshmen. You got your Marcellus Williams, you got your Marquise Gallegos, you got your the other kid that plays at corner that's a freshman, Conley. So right now, I don't think they are mentally. I don't think they're there physically. They may have the tools to play that position, but mentally, I don't think they've gotten enough reps or seen enough action in order to do that. So to avoid something like that, hey, let's just play, give them a cushion and come up and make the tackle as opposed to getting beat on the outside and giving up the big play, which is more demoralizing. That way you can
Right.
control it. Once you get into the red zone, you can control it now. Okay, now we can really, go up and force everything to the sideline because you got a shorter distance. You don't have to worry about getting beat deep and use the sideline, as another defender and let everybody else on the inside, do their thing.
And B, I'm in USCJ. I'm gonna get out here out of this because I know you.
No,
Um,
we're gonna all get out together. I'm gonna go
that
check
that
out these.
that's total respect. Everything you say, B, and everything you say is true respect. It's true
Right,
love,
right.
and that's why we gotta have y'all kids that's in here listening, y'all parents. That's why y'all coming to SC, okay? Because we going to the next level. It's just a matter of us getting there, and we need you to get there. And like we want you to get there. We gotta have it. You can be
And
that one
actually,
who's a game changer. You can be that one who come off the end and we can come up. Now you're gonna give Deonton Lynn extra. Oh my God! Can you imagine Deonton Lynn defense if he got DBs who could come up and he got ends just crashing down like Latu
Right,
last
right.
year, and kids is
Well,
coming up the
well,
middle? It's easy work.
well,
which was
hey,
maybe more of a blessing in disguise that these
yeah.
young kids are getting this experience this year that we had the injuries. Unfortunate, we lost some key defenders. But just think about, had those defenders not gotten hurt, those
Hmm.
backups probably wouldn't be getting as much time as they're getting right now and not getting experience. So, okay, well, now they're getting that time and they're getting that experience. So now what we got behind, our sophomores is, behind our juniors is some prepared sophomores that's seen that action before. And we got a favorable schedule next year, so they should be ready to, rock and roll next year because they've seen 5, 6 games worth of action as opposed to 2 or 3 games in a red shirt.
Right.
Absolutely. And I talked with somebody close to the program and they said, Jay, especially with all this stuff going on, they said if we could just weather the storm, if we could just hold some of these guys together, this recruiter class, and then, these guys that's here this year had the experience. I think, one year to year two, the leap, I think it's going to be very significant for all of these guys, man. And USC, especially the offensive line and defensive line, I think we're going to be a force to be reckoned with, man. And so the question is, how is this thing going to be? Is Jayden Maiava, is he going to perform well enough to with Juju? I mean, it's some stuff that's going to have to be sorted out. Is Miller going? And I already know how you feel about it, Brian. But is Miller going to stay? I mean, how is this going to be sorted out? Can Miller win his job? So there's a lot of things to sort out. Before next year comes.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, you can't have Moss back into the system, man. He just doesn't fit it. And
It's
he's
crazy.
a good kid. He's a good kid, man. But
No, I heard somebody say that in the press conference, and Coach Riley was like,
right.
"Did you hear that today?" He was like, "We're it's week to week to week," and so
No,
he was
no,
kind of leaving the
I didn't
door
hear
open.
that. But if you just asking my perspective again, this is not Jay saying this. This is me saying this. You
Yeah,
can't have Moss back in the system. If he does, he got to know that he's going to be QB3, possibly QB4, because what you're going to have first is you're going to have Maava, and providing that Lewis sticks with his his commitment, you'll have Lewis number 2. Moss will have to know that he's QB3. He will have to know it.
absolutely. Well, look, fellas, we're gonna get out here together. We're
Jay,
gonna
can I
go.
say something about you real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah.
Man, listen, for anybody that says that, like Jay's a racist, or anybody that says anything that this dude's not upstanding, his God fearing personality on what he does and how he lives his life every single day of his life and how he moves forward. And he does this as a point to just give us content to be able to grow his channel. Not even about growing it, it's more like just you got to look at the spirit of the person. This guy has a great spirit. Nobody's mad about what color you are or what the challenges is, what happens. Like we just speaking about what it is because we love UFC football. So
Absolutely,
if there's anybody who has anything or any challenge to say about that, I've been watching this brother. He's astounding, top of the top tier. God has a hand on his life. And just let the brother
absolutely,
run his hand on his life. I know it's gonna be haters, I know it's gonna be mad, but don't come in the perspective of like you're gonna talk about somebody's character in regards to racism. That's not where we're at, nowhere in none of this channel. We all come through here because we love USC football. We want to see it win, no matter of a race, no matter who it is, no matter of the gender. It's just a matter of going forward. And that's what it is. And this dude is phenomenal.
man. I appreciate
Facts,
it, brother. I
facts.
appreciate that from the bottom of the heart, brother. Really do. Really do, man. And well said, too. Really appreciate that, man. And look, I appreciate everybody. Brian been here since day one. And it's been, look, if I would have told you that I was expecting all this, absolutely not, man. It just kind of came like that. But I will say when you do something you love, I'm not looking to do it for the money. But by the way, you two don't pay a lot of money. But I'm blessed that the Lord has blessed me with a good career. I make pretty good money, so I don't have to worry about that, and I can kind of do it my way and kind of keep the God factor in, which to the brother that was alluding to it, and that's the way I want to do it, because I know God continue to bless it, and we just kind of moved that way, man. So, man, to God be the glory is all I can say, brothers. And I appreciate you, man. Hey, Brian, anything else you want to say?
No, appreciate you having me on, man. You know, looking forward to the this bye week, them getting healed up, getting themselves together, and getting back out there, and hopefully getting a win next week. And good luck to everybody that's on this channel, man. Thanks.
Hey, all right, man. So I appreciate everybody that's tapped in, man. Listen, we out of here. We're gonna go out here together. Until later on, everybody stay blessed. Fight on, fight on,
All right,
fight
fight
on.
on, fight on.